everyone. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to create long press gestures. So let's get started. In order to use the long press and other specialized types of gestures, these aren't part of core MAUI. We need to install the MAUI Community Toolkit. So I'm going to manage our NuGet packages and install that MAUI Community Toolkit package. Once we've installed this package, we can go into our MAUI PROG1324 and add the extension that allows us to use it. So we need our using statement, and then our chain to use the MAUI Community Toolkit. Once we've completed this, we can close this down and go back to our main page. Now my goal here is to create a long press gesture recognizer so that when we hold on this image, eventually we can make something happen. Now for this simple demo, the something that's going to happen is an alert being displayed. In C#, first of all, we need to make sure that we're using our community toolkit. In this case, we're going to add a using statement that adds a class here called behaviors, a namespace called behaviors. And the type of behavior that we're going to create is called a touch behavior. So as the page is loaded up, after all of our components are initialized, we're going to create a new touch behavior object. And we can set up this properties. So the first one that we're going to look at is the long press command. And this is going to specify what command is executed when the long press is detected. This is kind of similar to last week's video when we were creating an iCommand property that specified the method that was called when that command is invoked. So in this case, we're going to create a new command with a string parameter. But this time, instead of an anonymous method, I'm going to call a named method called onLongPress. And we'll have to write this method and define what it does after the fact. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's continue on with our properties. We're going to send a command parameter. And we've defined that the command accepts a string. So this parameter can be sent as a string as well. We're going to have the string saying Go Jays. Since it's a picture of the Blue Jays logo we're going to be clicking on. And finally, we can set the duration of how long you have to hold the long press before it's actually registered. So the long press duration, and we'll set that to 5,000. And this is set in milliseconds, so 5,000 translates to 5 seconds. Now that our touch behavior is all set up, we can apply the behavior to the existing image. Let's find out what this image is called. It doesn't have a name, so we need to make sure that it does, so that we can refer to it in code. We'll call it IMG logo. We'll go into its behaviors collection and add our new behavior. Now the next step is to define the onLongPress method that we're calling here. So we'll define this as a void method. And it needs to take that string as an input parameter that we're going to be passing through the command parameter. So in here we're going to have our dialog appear. Use display alert. Long press as the title, and we'll use our parameter as the message. And for the string on the button, we'll make it say OK. So let's execute this code and ensure that it's working before we move on. So my app has opened, and in order to test out the long press, I'm going to get my mouse over top of this image, click and hold. We'll have to wait for 5 seconds since that's what we set the duration to. But then after the 5 seconds has elapsed, we should see the display alert action happening with the long press and the GoJ's message that we passed through as the command parameter. And there's our message appearing. So this is how we create the touch behavior in the code behind. So I hope you guys all found this video helpful, and we'll see you in the next one.